My name is Chris Ortiz with 316 Photography. Live here with Blane Howard.
Hey.
And can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, man. I grew up in Arkansas. Just always had a love for country music, and always enjoyed singing and stuff like that. So when I graduated high school, packed up and moved to Nashville. Attended Belmont University. Found out that they had a music program there where you could do something other than just sing in the choir. They had pop groups and rock and country and all that stuff. So Belmont was the place for me to be, and got a music degree there. Graduated back in 2010, and then since then just started writing songs and touring, playing music full time, man. That's just kind of what's kind of been my life for really the past 10 years now. Um, I started kind of co-writing once I graduated and spent my time writing, and then weekends traveling and touring and things like that. Really just trying to, build a bit of a fan base and get that performance experience. And that's just kind of where it all at least started for me.
Awesome. Awesome. So, what was your very first song that you wrote that helped you get to the level you're at now?
So I'd never really written songs in college or anything like that. A little bit. I did a little bit of it, but never really had that ability that at least I wasn't confident enough in that ability until I graduated. And I wrote a song back in 2010, not long after I graduated, called She's a Mess. I put it out as a single in 2011. It was on my album that came out in 2013. And that was the first song that I ever wrote that I was confident enough to perform live. And so that's kind of what got me down the road that where I had enough confidence to continue the songwriting thing. I performed it opening for Blake Shelton back in 2011. The crowd seemed to love it. Nobody was saying that song sucked or anything like that. So that really kind of gave me the confidence to keep going. Like I said, put out that album or the project in 2013, and put another one out in 2015. And songwriting just kind of built from there.
Awesome. So, how was your experience like opening up for Blake Shelton and uh, other artists that you've opened up for?
Yeah, it's a really interesting experience. It's always eye opening. The very first time I did it was for Joe Nichols, and that was a pretty big crowd. It's about 5 or 6 thousand. That was about a month or two after I graduated college. It was kind of one of my first shows that I played like full band after college. I didn't really have much original material, so I borrowed some songs from friends and played some covers and things like that. And that was just a cool thing. Like, okay, this is kind of this is what goes on, all that stuff. And then the next year when I opened for Blake, it was right as season one of The Voice had ended. So obviously his popularity had just skyrocketed. And so we showed up, for sound check, there were already a couple thousand people waiting to get in the gate. By the time we went on, usually, an opener goes on, there's maybe half the crowd's there, maybe a little less, a little more. But when we got there, it was already jam packed. And I think by the time we finished, it was probably 10 to 12,000 people packed in there. So that was a cool opportunity to go. These people are in here; they're just here to watch Blake, but this is my opportunity to maybe win some fans over here, and that was really cool to see their reaction to that. But the coolest part was watching Blake perform from backstage, seeing how the crowd reacted, the light show, everything that went into it. That was the really big eye-opening thing. Like, I got to do this full time. Like, how do I get to this point?
Awesome. So back on November 7th of 2019, seeing that you uploaded your music video, "Promise to Love Her."
Hmm.
Um, the did you think it was going to hit 6 million views, or did you think it was going to hit the millions?
I thought it might hit the millions because we actually put the single out in 2017 and kind of pushed it to small market radio on our own, put out a little independent video, small production, things like that. And it did pretty well. It got on, some of the smaller music video stations and things like that. And I think that video had maybe around 1 million views at the time that we put that one out. So I thought maybe this one would get there too, but it was also kind of well, they've already seen the previous one. Maybe people won't really be attached to this one, but it was on CMT. It was featured on the CMT Music 12 Pack Countdown. Spent 17 weeks on there, including 1 week at #1. So that's really what helped it kind of skyrocket from there. And we'd already had a little bit of a streaming run going before that as well. Maybe early 2019, like February or March, we noticed that we were really seeing an uptick in our streams, which had gone from maybe a million or two up to, almost 10 million pretty quickly. So the music video plus catching on with more and more of the streaming playlists and things like that really helped that song take off. And man, now it's, the song's been streamed over 80 million times, man. It's been a crazy ride with that song for sure.
That is crazy. Well, congratulations on hitting those big numbers, man.
It's been an incredible ride for sure.
So do you as well, is there going to be a song coming out with like Blake Shelton or any big name musician?
Not as far as I know in the near future. Obviously, I had new music ready to go before COVID hit. We were really starting to kind of, pick up some ground, maybe get some labels involved and things like that. And then COVID happened and shut everything down. So we're finally going to be able here, actually in the next couple of weeks, to put out a new single with a new project to follow a few months later, and new music video, all that stuff. So after a year of waiting, I'm finally going to get to put out some new music. So hopefully that leads to some more of that. The single's called Rock on Her Window. It debuts March 26th. You can already pre-order it and pre-save it on Spotify and all that stuff. Music video will debut on CMT a couple weeks after that. It's really gonna, we're really looking forward to having some new music out. And then, like I said, I've had that new project ready for a year. So as soon as that single gets going, a couple months down the road, we'll put out 6 or 7 more tracks with it to get that going in the summer as well. So really excited to finally have some new music coming, especially since COVID's delayed us.
Right, I hear that. It's been the same here.
Yeah.
So with your music videos being aired on CMT, how does that make you feel?
The first time it happened, it was really kind of I don't know. It's kind of like I didn't really know what to feel or what to say. It was like an excitement, but like you hope for this at the same time. It was this weird feeling of all of that mixed together. But I mean, when I was a kid, when I was 3 or 4 years old, I had a little plastic guitar. I'd sit in front of the TV watching CMT, singing along to Alan Jackson and Garth Brooks and George Strait and all those guys. So to go from like seeing those pictures of me in front of the TV as a kid to I'm the one with the video on CMT, that's really kind of come full circle for me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. How does it feel to have the following and support from all your fans?
Oh, the fans are honestly what it's all about. Like I enjoy singing and I enjoy writing music. It's what makes me happy, but it makes me even happier when I see fans react, especially at a live show, seeing the way they react to the song, seeing them sing along and dance and all that stuff. That's what it's all about for me. That's what's really sucked about COVID is I was doing 100 dates a year, traveling and all that stuff, just as an independent artist, getting to see fans out there on the road all the time. And I haven't been able to do that really for over a year now. So I've really missed that interaction one-on-one with the fans. Not only from the stage, but after the show, before the show. You go back to the same venues and you see the same fans come back and you become friends with a lot of them. You develop these relationships with them, and to not be able to see those people for so long, it's been really tough. But that's really what it's all about for me is the fans' reaction. When I write songs, I'm trying to pull from something personal, but I'm also trying to write something that my fans out there listening can relate to as well, and hope that they possibly get something out of it as well. So hopefully, when we get back out on the road, we'll just continue that great relationship with them.
Awesome. So I see you're a diehard KC fan. Can you tell us about your
I am.
single?
Yeah, I've been a KC fan since I was a little kid. I grew up in Arkansas, so we didn't have pro teams, and my grandfather used to always watch the Chiefs, and so I'd watch the Chiefs growing up with him. So that's just the team that I started watching when I was really little. always follow the games. I've been to some games at Arrowhead. I got to go to the Super Bowl a couple of years ago in Miami when they won. Um, and probably 2018, the first time I ever went to a game at Arrowhead, I put out a little parody video just on Facebook and stuff for for fans and stuff. And it really kind of took off in the KC area, and they played it on the news stations there and the radio stations. And that was just something that was just kind of like a fun little thing for social media, just to have some fun. And so when this last year came about after we won the Super Bowl, everybody was asking, you got to do it again. You got to do another song for the season. I was like, well, I'm a songwriter. Why don't I write, an original song? So the Chiefs theme last year was Run It Back. Obviously, they fell just a little bit short of that, but it was an incredible ride with that. I put the song out at the end of the season, probably with about 3 or 4 weeks to go. The hype video plus the streaming numbers and all that stuff were over a couple million within just a few months that went on. And they played the song in the stadium against the Browns in a playoff game. The Chiefs used it in a highlight reel after the game. So I really got like everything I could have ever wanted out of that song. I got something out to all my KC fans for them to get hyped for the game, and the Chiefs actually used it like in the stadium and for a highlight reel. So I don't know what could get better than that, other than maybe Patrick Mahomes or somebody like that, like tweeting it out saying how awesome it is or whatever. But it was an incredible ride. Met a lot of fans along the way. I actually got to go play at a tailgate down in Tampa for Super Bowl weekend. Meet a lot of fans down there as well. So it was a cool ride. I hate that they fell a little bit short, but already working on some ideas for another one for 2021.
Awesome, man. Well, congratulations on that as well.
Thank you, man. Like I said, it's all the KC fans, man. It's all the fans out there. It's all them.
Man, that's big moves right there. What inspirational words would you give to the people that are just starting out in the music scene?
Trying to be a songwriter or producer or someone on, and if it's management or music industry or a performer, first of all, you have to give it a shot. You have to try it. You have to pursue that dream. I moved to Nashville when I was 18 and started at Belmont and got there, and everybody knew how to sing and play guitar and play piano. And I thought, I was like, I don't know how to do any of this stuff. I'm never going to make it. And, you just keep persevering and learn those things along the way. Not everybody has to do everything. But as far as like, if you want to make it in Nashville, number one thing that pretty much anybody that's like works in the industry will tell you is you must be present to win. You can't, phone it in and try and travel into town a couple of weeks, write songs, travel back. You've got to be here in Nashville. You got to be networking. You got to be songwriting. You've got to be meeting people and recording here, meeting your band members here. Yes, I travel out elsewhere to play music, but you've got to be playing music here as well. And that's really, that's the first biggest thing. 2 is keep trying. First time I started writing songs, I didn't want to play them for anybody. And it took me probably 10 or 15 tries to even get something that I wanted to play for a friend. And then it took me, even more to find something that I was comfortable to play live and then record and put on an album, and just, it just continues from there. So songwriting is one of those things that, you'll write the same type song 100 or 200 times until you finally find the right way that you wanted to say it. Just one of those things that you just got to keep trying at it, man. So all I can say is, chase your dreams, pursue your dreams. If I never make it big, if I never, headline a major tour and play arenas, I'm never playing at the Grand Ole Opry, I'll be a little disappointed. Obviously that's my dream, but I moved to Nashville. I gave it my shot. I've done the best I can at it for, 10, 12 years now. And I'm going to continue doing it until somebody tells me, and until I'm ready to say I can't do it anymore.
Awesome. So what's your favorite instrument to play?
Probably guitar, just because that's the thing that I play the most often when I'm songwriting and playing live and things like that. I do know how to play piano a little bit, but I'm so out of practice that I'm probably not very good right now. But when I was back in college, when we had to actually take it and like take a test on it and pass in order to graduate, I was actually pretty good at it. And so if I really sit down, I can be pretty good at that. But guitar is something that I do all the time. I play all the time. But I'm definitely not a lead guitar player. I'm not going to pick up a pick up an electric guitar and play a Slash solo or anything like that, but I can hang on the rhythm side for sure.
Awesome, awesome. So how can people find you on social media?
Yeah. Easiest way is just go to my website, blanehoward.com. Right there on the front page, we've got links to everything, including all of our streamers. But Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff's at Blane Howard, TikTok, even all that stuff. And then I'm stream all my music on Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, Amazon, pretty much anywhere that you can stream your music online. My music's there.
Awesome. Well, I want to say thank you so much for taking the time for letting me interview you and ask you some questions, get to know you a little bit better.
For sure, man. Chris, I appreciate it.
You're very welcome.